Welcome to Armchair Safari. This today is a bit of a different show because I'm out traveling. I'm in Lisbon. Say hello if you want to. And last night, in my time at least, or yesterday if you're in America, Tesla released their robot taxi thingies. It's finally time to figure out what the hell they were talking about all these years. And oh my God, do we have to talk about the design? Welcome to Armchair Safari, the daily stream where we try to become better designers by looking at amazing design that we find online and just trying to figure out what is good about it, what's bad about it, does this work for the end user, and what can we learn from all of this. So this is a lot of stuff to take in. So let's dive into this because this is freaking amazing. Okay, so Tesla released two new vehicles that are going to be their new robot taxi fleet. And the basic premise is very simple. Their full self-driving is going to become completely autonomous, meaning you don't have to have a look or anything. You don't have to be able to stop it or anything. So this car, this is their Robocab or Robotaxi. I couldn't figure out which name is actually accurate. This has no steering wheel at all. You just get in and go. And it looks like this from the outside. I'm very intrigued by the styling choice here. They went. It's not really Cybertruck, right? It's more like futuristic Art Deco or future Art Deco. And honestly, I love it. I really do love it because this almost looks like you have some sort of Athenian helmets coming up. And yeah, we are going to look at the other car. I know you saw it, and I know it's blowing your mind, but we're going to wait for that. We're going to look at the robot taxi to begin with. And I should have mentioned as well, there is a chat. You should jump in. And Eric Eng just added, love the exterior finish. iRobot Audi vibes, 100%. Yeah, yes, yeah, completely agreed. This is very much close to that. Actually, let's check. What does that look like? That was a thing, right? Yeah. Here's the iRobot Audi. And yeah, I mean, it is futuristic. It's crazy. I especially like the doors are very similar, right? The finish is like this futuristic, like sleek finish is almost on every auto these days. But the fact they made it gold is very cool. And these doors, they're not seagull doors. There's something completely weird. And I'm so glad you mentioned this, Eric, because I would have never remembered these doors open in the same kooky way as these ones do. Because they do open diagonally upward, which is super odd. Super odd. I hope there was another photo of this so we can see it properly. Oh, let's look at that first. Oh, okay, so here's one. So they open out and up and away from what would be the steering wheel. It's very easy to get in and very easy to get out because there's nothing in the way at all. The door frame is huge. But if this is like parallel parked and parked very close to something, I wonder if you can open the door. They have guaranteed thought about this, so I would love to know what they thought and how they come up with this, but it's a very cool idea. It's also, I think it's super interesting that they went with gold. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this at all. And it's so strange and interesting that they went with gold, not just for this single model, but for everything they did. Okay, I've waited long enough. I want to show you this. Oh my freaking God, look at this. This is the Robovan. And the Robovan is, how did I open that? There we go. The Robovan looks like the most amazing Art Deco train from the olden times. Let me show you. Yeah, here we go. The Mercury. That's what it was called. Oh my God, look at that thing. It is incredibly beautiful, and it's still cool and futuristic and beautiful, even though this is from, I don't know when, 30s maybe. And I mean, this has those same vibes. The parallel lines, the smooth curve, just the plated panel, like it's completely swept back metal. It just looks incredibly cool. And the lights that just flow into the lines, so you don't really see where they start, don't really see where they end. This is just absolutely incredible. I did not see this detail before when I looked at the video. This is freaking cool. So when you open the door, there's extra lighting to help you get in and out. It's even some here in the foot valve or in the foot. I don't know what that's called in English. This seats 20, apparently. So this is I've been talking about like robot taxis for years and autonomous fleet of cars for years, and I've always asked like, why doesn't someone build the bus? Because that's really what we want, right? The small mini bus. It's just absolutely incredible. Uh, oh yeah, so Eric has another really cool idea in the chat about the seagull doors on the robot taxi. Let's jump back and look at it. Of course, if you park too close to another car, you could probably get out on the other side because there's no mid console, so you can just scooch over. And this folds up, by the way. They showed this in the video. So you could just jump over and get out on the other side. And if you even have this as an example on the on the display of the, it actually shows it with just one door open. So that's brilliant, Eric. Thank you for letting us know. And yeah, of course, you don't actually have to park. You never have to find a parking space to get in and out. Of course, you just watch it pull up, jump in, and go. Of course, this is the brilliance of how design changes the world. When things actually do change, there's so many assumptions that change with them that suddenly the entire world changes. And like Elon on stage talked about one of them, the fact that if we can remove parking lots, you could just fill that in with greenery. And if you do that to a city like Los Angeles, it becomes an urban jungle. And it is a mind-blowingly beautiful and cool thing. But we got to go back and look at the minivan because oh my god, is the Robovan cool! Like I said, this is so incredibly Art Deco. I don't know where to go, and it's seats 20, or it can be configured to do goods. So, I mean, this replaces lorries in cities, right? Completely. Like you could have people who travel with it to deliver packages. You could have people who don't, or you could have cars that just stop and you go pick up your package or whatever. There's so many interesting ways of doing this that yeah, it's just this is absolutely freaking mind blowing to me. So we have to talk about the design. We can't get stuck on the details of all that it could be. I wonder what happened with my zooming thing. It looks like it broke a little bit. What happens if I refresh this? Do I dare? I mean, it seems okay. Yeah, much better. Good. So, yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at how freaking cool that is. And okay, so coming back to the point about the buses. So in an autonomous world, you don't want a car. Like most of the time, what you really want is a minivan because you're just going from point A to point B anyway. You just want to jump into something and get there. And these things could just be cruising around. Like they could be doing circuits over the city, or they could be doing. I actually was in a test pilot of one of these things in San Francisco in 2017, 2016, I think. They were doing. They had these Mercedes minivans, and they drove bus routes, and you could jump in and out. And along the bus routes, you could jump in and out anywhere through the app. So they did do like a route that you had to be on, but you would just jump in and out anywhere. And a few years ago, I saw the same thing happening in Hamburg. They had the same concept. They had a minivan that drove around, but it would pick you up like several blocks away from the route, and you could just jump in and out anywhere, just do it through from the app. And it is just such a better way of transportation. And Elon talks a little bit about this in his presentation on this as well. He talks about the fact that because these are electric, mass produced, and reusable by anyone, it means that you get the price down even under things like buses, because they're mass produced in a completely different way than a bus would be. So there's a ton of really interesting economies of scale that could happen with these vehicles. Now, the Robotaxi should go into production in 2026 or before 2027 in Elon's terms. The Robovan is still undisclosed, so we don't know what will happen with that. But I guess the interesting part about this is that, of course, there's no regulation for this yet, right? So we can't actually use the cars quite yet. So even though they're going to release this to be able to test this in Texas and California next year, they said, when you can actually use it in a proper way, we don't know. Tesla is also going to not be running the fleet themselves, according to Musk, or at least he alluded to that. So what's going to happen is private people are going to rent out their private cars, which I very much enjoy the idea of. I'm not sure if that's going to work, but it's a very cool concept. Also, these cars are all inductive charged. So they drive over a thing, and the thing probably attaches, and it charges the thing. Don't know how that's going to work. Like my iPhone doesn't charge that fast. Car charges way slower. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see the stats on that. But let's actually get into the design, right? So how do we feel about the design of this? Tell me in the chat if you're following along. How do you feel about the design? Then I'm going to give you my opinion in like 10 seconds. I'm just going to scroll through the photos over and over again. All right, that is it. Nobody posted in the chat. Shame on you. Anyway, so here's what I think. I think this is, to be honest, I was expecting more from the Robotaxi. It is in many ways, a genius design, but it also looks very much like a Model 3. And I'm sure that's intentional. I'm sure that's because of production problems, but it is a little bit boring. Love the doors. Love that the back of it is opaque, and there was a picture with it open, and it opens into this huge space. So you could go IKEA shopping in this car for sure, because you could fit a lot in here. It also seems to be 2 or possibly 3 seated. There's no back seat, which is also a very interesting choice for this type of car. I'm not sure why they did that. The gold is very, very, very interesting. This is a new design language for Tesla, and I wonder why. His name is, the Tesla designer's name is Franz von Holzhausen. And he does some really freaking interesting design. And I was actually wondering a couple of weeks ago, like, when are we going to see something new from Tesla? Because their stuff is starting to look dated, and I think he hates that. Oh, look, here we actually have the Audi. Somebody posted it in the thread. That's nice. So for the car itself, I think it's a little bit of a safe bet and maybe a little bit boring, but it also looks freaking awesome. It really does. And like the level of detail that I'm going for, with the thing about minimalism, especially in architecture and in constructing objects like this MacBook right here, is that the sleeker it looks, the cleaner the lines, the harder it is to fucking pull it off. Because every single detail and scratch and misalignment shows up like a sore thumb. And it's very, very, very hard to make something that looks this sleek and clean, where the lines are this simple. it would take very little to ruin this completely. So I'm impressed by the execution. I'm just not that impressed by the direction. I'm not going to complain though. I mean, this is way beyond my skills, so I'm not going to complain about that. The Robovan, however, in my mind, America should have gone all in on Art Deco from the start and just done that as the brand of America. And I think this set a statement for what we want the future to be in the most potent and positive way I have ever seen. This is futuristic, even though it's a old-ish design, right? It stands on Art Deco from the 20s and 30s, but this is hyper futuristic and it feels super relevant. And I feel optimistic about the future because of an object like this actually existing. I think this is genius design. Eric actually came in here a little late, but awesome to have the opinion. He just says this just looks awesome, and I mean, yeah, yes, yeah. No ports, handles, mirrors, etc. And this is about the car, so let's go back and check. Yeah, no ports, no mirrors, no handles, nothing. All of that was cleaned off because you don't need them because there's no human driver. It's all cameras. So you don't need a rear view mirror. There's no way for you to take in that information. You're not supposed to be looking at that anyway. Love that. Let's get back to the Robovan. The Robovan is just such an optimistic vision of the future based on a cultural heritage. And just this combination in design is so incredibly hard to pull off. Luxury brands spend their entire histories doing this really well. And the ones that do end up making a shit ton of money because what they're doing is they're basically slowly upgrading the brand of something that is nostalgic and historic for a lot of people. And I think the Robovan really does that for what a futuristic industry from America is. The the train, I think it was in the 30s or 40s, the Mercury, really showed the powerhouse of a fledgling optimistic nation. And I mean, America is not fledgling anymore, but this really makes a statement that holy shit, Tesla is here to shape the future. And oh my God, if it looks like this, I really hope this works. I really hope this works. I would love to see these things cruising around everywhere. And honestly, like, I'm sure there will be, and I hope there will be competition to this because monopoly is never good. And if people love this enough, I think the competition is also going to lean Art Deco. And man, I'm so here for it. Okay, so is there anything bad about this? Not even gonna try to criticize Holzhausen's design. I'm sure someone will find something bad about this. I mean, maybe you could say that the spoke cover on this car, when it's lost, it's gonna look boring. That's yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna try. No, I am not qualified to criticize Holzhausen too much. Uh, not much at all. And does this work for the end user? Tesla is suspiciously good at focusing all of their attention on the actual end user. There is very little going into a Tesla that is all about style. Like they even have these panel gaps and stuff that other car manufacturers would absolutely abhor. But the Tesla owners don't give a shit because the Tesla owners don't care about that detail. They want their car to be futuristic and optimistic and work, and they do on average. So I suspect that there's going to be a lot of level of detail in this as well. Now, there is an entire part missing to this, so I can't really answer the question because, of course, if these are autonomous vehicles and people can hail them anywhere, how? How do they hail them? How do they work? we haven't seen the software. So I would love to see the other part of this before I actually say if this is a good or bad thing. Yeah, I'm incredibly freaking impressed. And yeah, really looking forward to see this on the street. Really looking forward to people trying them. And I hope the reviews of people that tried them out at the We Robot event yesterday are going to come out soon, because I'm waiting for it, man. I'm so looking forward to that. Anyway, I am in Lisbon this week, so if you're in Lisbon, say hi. Otherwise, let me know what you thought about this design in the in the comments below or in the next post. This thread can be found on Tesla's X page, or probably everywhere Tesla is, but it's also in my description and in the next post on X. And yeah, looking forward to review some more design with you guys, and looking forward to an Art Deco future, because oh my god, that's freaking awesome.